For centuries, Western art depicted the Tower of Babel as a massive, leaning circular cylinder with Roman arches spiraling into the clouds. That image is historically and archaeologically incorrect. The builders in ancient Mesopotamia were not constructing a round, pointy tower. They were building a ziggurat. A ziggurat is a massive, stepped pyramidal temple structure that dominated the skyline of early ancient Near Eastern cities. To pull this off, the builders relied on the cutting-edge technology of the late 4th millennium BC. They used durable kiln-baked bricks and held them together with bitumen, a naturally occurring sticky black petroleum pitch used as an in-chute waterproof adhesive. Babel is a record of a massive, heavily engineered infrastructure project. It represents post-flood humanity organizing its labor, pooling its resources, and refusing to spread out across the earth. Tradition almost universally places this massive construction site in the southern deserts of ancient Babylon. This topographical map shows the problem. Following the global flood, southern Mesopotamia was largely underwater, a marshy lagoon. Instead, modern geological and historical synthesis aligns the biblical plain of Shinar with the Khabur River Triangle in northeastern Syria. Rather than obeying the divine mandate to migrate outward and populate the globe, Noah's descendants deliberately clustered together in this specific northern plain. The population believed they had secured a centralized permanent home. By clustering in a single geographic pocket, they set the stage for a catastrophic two-front crisis. The first half of this crisis was cultural and spiritual, driven entirely by the specific design of their new city. Fearing the harsh nomadic life, the population sought safety in numbers. They relied on aggressive urbanization, packing tightly into fortified mud brick settlements. The spiritual center of this urban sprawl was the Ziggurat, and specifically its grand stairway, known historically as the Similtu. The Similtu was a monumental external staircase designed to bridge the heavens and the earthly temple. This cross-section diagram shows the true architectural intent. The flow does not go up. The builders were not climbing into the clouds to reach God. They were building a ramp to invite the deity down into a temple at the base of the tower. They were attempting to domesticate the divine. They wanted to anthropomorphize deity and trap it within a localized, human-controlled system. While the city's builders focused entirely on their temple, a silent biological clock was ticking in the background. This diagram illustrates a genetic bottleneck, a dangerous scenario where a localized population refuses to migrate, restricting DNA variety. When closely related individuals reproduce within a confined group, inbreeding depression occurs. Harmful recessive mutations surface and compound with every passing generation. A severe lack of genetic diversity leaves an isolated group biologically fragile. A single localized disease or a sudden environmental shift could easily wipe out this entire tightly clustered population in an instant. In their effort to preserve themselves behind the walls of one city, the builders of Babel were engineering the biological collapse of the human race. The spiritual degradation of deity and the mathematical certainty of genetic collapse reached a tipping point, forcing a sudden divine intervention. The mechanism for this intervention was the immediate, inexplicable confounding of human language directly on the construction site. The Hebrew text uses the word balal. Balal translates to confusion or mixing, and it became the namesake for Babel. Without a shared vocabulary, the complex cooperation required to build the city instantly fractured. This glowing world map shows the biological fallout. With construction halted and the society fractured, the tight-knit population was forced to scatter across the continents. The destruction of Babel halted the domestication of God. It also shattered the genetic bottleneck, forcing geographic diversification to ensure the survival of humanity. This map shows the paths of human migration. As these populations traveled, their gene pools branched out and diversified across the globe. We see the evidence of this migration in the sudden emergence of massive stepped pyramids in newly settled regions like Mexico, Peru, as well as the intricately tiered architectural temple structures found across India. This global dispersion essentially weaponized humanity's shared history, embedding the design of Babel into the foundations of every subsequent civilization. The biblical account of language confusion is directly corroborated by the Sumerian epic Enmerkar and the Lord of Arada, where the god Enki changed the unified speech of man. The specific memory of the Tower of Babel traveled intact with the dispersed migrating populations. This migrating memory explains why ancient cultures, from Mesopotamian ziggurats to Mexican pyramids and Indian temple towers, all built massive staged structures for religious purposes. The global distribution of these stepped towers acts as a physical fossil record, suggesting that human civilization fractured from a single, highly advanced epicenter. Compared to other ancient myths, the biblical narrative remains remarkably consistent with historical reality. The text provides a precise historical detail by accurately recording the use of baked brick and bitumen, which sharply contrasted with Israelite stone construction. The Genesis account mirrors the early stages of urbanization and the subsequent shift in Mesopotamian religious views. Genesis 11 records the moment humanity tried to bring God down to their level, resulting in the scattering that populated the earth. How did the physical scattering of humanity save our genetic future? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Thank you so much for watching this video on our TheoflowAI channel. If you have liked this video, then kindly consider hitting that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all our latest videos. We'll see you all in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and may God bless you all.